Hey everybody, good morning. I just wanted to give my props to South Park. That show has endured for, I believe, we're on the 17th season now. And when that show first came out, there was a large following, and there still is to this day. And there's always the group of people who just don't get it or don't understand it, or the other group that thinks it's too vulgar, or the ones that think the kids shouldn't cuss, whatever it may be. I've seen every episode of South Park, and there's, 150 probably or more. And the thing I love about it is that it always tackles recent issues. And when you go back and you watch some of the older seasons or the older episodes, it really brings back where things were at that point in time. Like, for example, there was an episode I watched the other day where they make an internet sensation, and they have Butters, one of the characters, do a dance in this little costume. It's called the What in My Butt song, and it becomes a internet, sensation, and their whole idea is to go viral. Then they go to the place to collect their money from the internet, and it's the Internet Payment Center where people should collect money, and you get these theoretical dollars. And they were in this room waiting for their money with all these other people, like Chocolate Rain, and the Britney Spears lady, leave Britney alone, and all these, these sensations that happened over the last, say, 15 years. And the thing I've loved is to see now, when I look back on that, to see how things have gone viral in the past that were so stupid, and how now I think people are growing out of that. The same videos that were viral yesterday aren't necessarily viral today. I think people are kind of embarrassed to be excited about such mundane things. But there's another episode where Britney Spears, is being harassed and chased by everybody, and all she wants to do is just be left alone, and everybody's like, look at her, she's fat, oh, she's getting ugly. And it was just America in a nutshell, just our obsession with celebrities. And she ends up killing herself in the episode, but she's still alive. She has no head, but they insist she goes on and performs and makes an album. It's a ridiculous notion, but the symbolism behind the show is strong, and it's put in a vulgar context, but it very well resonates with me when I see and laugh about the way that people really are, and see that a show can be made based on that. And the one that really got me today was I'm watching an older season. I think it's like 5 years old, and this one was before the Obama election. And in the episode, Obama and McCain are fighting to win the election, and in the end, Obama wins. And so it shows half the town. The Obama supporters are all out partying in the streets, breaking shit, causing trouble, and the McCain supporters are all depressed, and they think the world's going to go to shit. So they build this bunker and stuff, this emergency shelter and hide out in there, thinking the world's going to come to an end. Like, Obama's president, the world's going to end. And all the Obama supporters are like, we're going to have change, it's going to change. And it just shows the ridiculous fervor to which people will go to defend their side. But Obama and McCain in the show ended up being buddies. They met up, and the whole thing was set up. They shook hands, and they're like, haha. They ended up being diamond thieves. And the whole point of being president was so they could go steal the Hope Diamond from the Smithsonian. And it's a great idea, great show. It's really funny, the whole idea behind it. But that episode in particular really got me thinking about this, the way that people behave over politics. And in the morning on the show, all these people were in the hospital, and somebody, they'd bring somebody to the hospital, and the nurse asks, was he a McCain supporter or Obama? And they said, why does that matter? And they said, well, because the Obama supporters are the ones that partied too hard, and they're all puking and laid out, passed out, alcohol poisoning. And she said, oh, and the McCain supporters all tried to commit suicide. And, everything is put so bluntly and in your face, but it's not as much for shock value as people think. It really gets the South Park followers, the people who understand the show, can look into it and see what the writers were thinking at the time. And they're poking fun at America. And, shows like South Park and Family Guy and American Dad. I say Family Guy is probably my favorite cartoon, next, that and South Park, ever, as far as adult cartoons anyway.
And a lot of people don't like Family Guy. And I think the reason is because it knocks everybody. It knocks all belief systems, and it has no holds barred. I mean, it tears into every aspect of society that is embarrassing. All the things that we do to make ourselves look like idiots. And it calls us out on it. And I can watch the show and relate because I feel the same way about the people. And if I ever find an episode that makes me angry, I'll really have to look inside to see why it made me angry personally. But anyway, along the lines of both of these shows, there's a lot of ideas and conspiracies that are teased about and thrown in there that that people who are in the know, who study these things, can say, aha, they're poking fun at this group that believes this or this group that believes that. And it goes to show that there's really an element of society that thrives on fear, and an element of society that thrives on hope. And somewhere in between is a majority of people that are just kind of trying to live their life and make it through. You know, there's an old saying, you know, when they say, what's the point of life? Is to live. Well, that's not enough. You know, that's just not enough. We're here, we have consciousness, we're aware, you know, and so we have television programs that are thrown in our face that are just total, utter garbage. I cannot stand any of the TV shows that are on today. I mean, there's a few good ones, you know, given, but they still suck in their own right. I can pick them apart anytime, but there are a few good shows out there, but most of them are just garbage, and they make everyone just look like fools. You know, they make America look like fools. And then the rest of the country, or the rest of the world, I mean, bases their opinion on us based on what they see in our cinematography and in our news. And that does not reflect the actual opinions of the people. But anyway, it's good to be able to kind of poke fun at us, because if you can't poke fun at society, then you know you're being too serious. And that's why, you know, that's why South Park, Family Guy, those shows were such a big hit, is because they tackled issues that nobody else would dare say face to camera. So they put it in a character instead. I mean, even an actor playing a certain part, it's not the same as a cartoon character. You know, we can set the cartoons and think of it as a separate, you know, entity. Cartoons don't exist. The characters don't exist. They're not real people. And so we can laugh about stuff that we ordinarily wouldn't laugh about in a group of people that were having a discussion. So anyone who doesn't get the show or doesn't like South Park, you know, give it a second chance and watch some of the older ones. But I do agree that it's pretty brutal. They use a lot of pretty foul language. But if you can dig through the shock value of it and see the hidden storylines behind it, it's pretty good. It's pretty funny stuff. So that's all. South Park's got some great episodes. And 17 years worth of them.